first thing, nice job holding down the fort, people.
Thank you.
That's just a waste of my time.
Yes, Sonny did a great job. I have a question for you, Adam. We have to get this solved because I almost didn't sleep last night after dealing with these gentlemen yesterday. And I feel attacked, and this is a hostile, toxic work environment, and I'd like you to weigh in.
Oh, yeah.
Shh.
I messed this up.
So I had an idea. It might be fun to do, instead of like a nerd walking or a gay walking, we do like a Gina walking with football questions. And then, we do it just like they do. We record it in advance and I do my answers and they cut the clip before I answer and everybody says yes or no. Super fun. Everybody having a great time.
About first class. We can't do that.
Does she know this? Does she know how many points a safety is good for?
Yeah, I went with more like name one team, Brett Favre played for.
Right.
But those types of questions.
Right.
Yeah, we're rudimentary.
Now, it's not, I don't want you to look at this through the lens of what you know or what these guys know. Knowing me, I'd like you to look at this through the lens of what I know.
All right.
One of the questions was...
Let me...
Your truth, not the truth.
Brian, do you have a cast iron skillet you could hit me with really hard?
Dare you.
Or Dawson. I mean, you probably don't have a skillet on
I
you.
would have to get it from home.
Dawson, you have a skillet in the truck?
Yeah, I left it in my other pants.
All right. Well.
I hate you guys.
All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. This is through my eyes.
Your eyes. Yeah,
Knowing
I get
nothing about football. Here we go.
The game has to be played that way.
Thank you.
Yes, I agree.
You're going to play it? Great. Here we go.
Who won last year's Super Bowl?
Who won last year's Super Bowl?
Right.
What year is it right now?
2021.
What year was it last year?
2021.
Okay. Oh,
Or
dare you.
2020. Well,
Yep.
yeah, the last Super Bowl play.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, well, the canal. I was actually making my points.
You went to KC.
I did.
And not Tampa.
I did. Because I was told it was last year.
I worded that poorly. I should have said who won last season's
But
Super
I don't
Bowl.
know
It's
if you go by
implied.
Yeah,
okay.
Would you expect her to know that, though?
That's where's the skillet? That's tough. I can't even put myself there without the skillet.
Who won this year's Super Bowl? I'd say, 2021. Let me figure out who it is. Last year's 2020.
You're 100% justified, Gina, but in the football world, last year and last season are kind of interchangeable.
That's my point. You guys know that.
Do you travel with an oar?
Oh, my God.
It doesn't have to be a skillet.
Yes, I do.
I think I'm painting us into a corner with my skillet talk.
Got a couple paddles, too.
Something heavy, something you could wield, something you could crack over my head.
Axe handle?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, just keep the sharp part off. Yeah, turn it around.
That's fine, as long as I get the point for it.
All right, there's something there.
Also, through some football god was talking through me, I guessed, apparently accurately, what position Michael Strahan used to play. Defensive end?
Yeah.
Okay. And then...
You're not impressed enough. Gina put a president out of nowhere.
I don't know any...
You're right. I know.
I told...
The previous question was what Robin Krause play back in the day. She said ball sacker?
Ball sacker.
Oh, wow.
So...
Was I right?
No.
Okay.
No.
And then finally, I couldn't remember what team OJ had played for, so I think I guessed the Brentwood Murderers.
Well, the Bills, the 49ers, and a year with the Rams or something?
I could have said USC, apparently.
I thought it was just Niners and Bills. But
Probably Niners and Bills. I don't know if he had. I may be thinking...
we would have accepted USC.
There were a couple of guys like Joe Namath who...
Tittle. Yeah.
At the end of their prime ended up like having 1 year with the Rams. But I guess it was just Bills and Niners.
I just wanted you to validate that I understand how years work.
Yes, not too bad.
Thank you.
All right. So I had some discussion, travel, things of that nature. I almost did something I have never done in all my travels to date. So there's certain...
Left Mike August alone?
There's certain things I do and certain things I don't do. Now,
refuse the second round?
So I've said...
Sorry, my friend.
I have, that will factor into the story.
All right.
I have decided that there are things I can do financially, such as purchase an expensive car or warehouse or something like that, or even stay at a really expensive resort with the family in Maui or something, but room service That's too good for me.
Yeah.
I can't do room service. I can't do the mini liquor bottles in the mini fridge.
I think you and I are the same way in that the resort in Maui, whatever my version of that is, you're getting a good value. Like, okay, we're spending money, staying in a nice place, we're going to enjoy ourselves. Room service, the value is out of whack.
It's actually diminished.
$28 for 2 eggs and 2 strips of bacon. It's like, the value.
And by the time they walk it over, it's steamy and cold.
I think I can do it for other people, too. It's just the individualness of the room service bumps. Well, anyway, something I'd never done, but I did, which was, all right, so we flew out, and Jimmy just kind of booked up the whole back of the plane. So everyone just sat in coach in the back of the plane, but it was, you don't really realize, like, you don't like coach, but if it's filled with people you like and friends, it's really not so bad.
It's a road trip.
I had a nice conversation with Jimmy's wife's sister and the husband and the 3-month-old as well, who cried right at the start and then knocked off, and we had a laugh and blah, blah, blah. And Jimmy's dad was sitting in front of me, and his mom was off to the right, and Molly and Kelly, their sister's parents, were in front of us. And Jimmy was somewhere in the back, further back. I didn't even know he was on initially. So we're going to fly back. And the other thing about flying coach is, as long as you know that somebody who has more money than you is also flying coach, it's soothing.
It's a salve.
Yeah.
So I knew Jimmy was on the plane. I was like, all right, good enough for Jimmy, good enough for me. But I did find out over the course of the weekend that he was flying back privately because of the Emmys. The Emmys were going off in some time, and he needed to get back and get in some location where if he won, he could give a acceptance speech or go. I want
to have that problem.
I didn't get all the nuts and the bolts, but it was Emmy Sunday, and he's nominated, and he needed to get back. So I was all right. So then I get to the airport traditionally 45 minutes to 55 minutes before the flight if I'm pre-checked in and I don't check bags. But because this is Jimmy, the bus is leaving the hotel
crack it on.
full 2.5 hours before the flight, and it's 15 minutes from the hotel to the... So now we got time at the airport. I get philosophical about it, which is fine. I'll hang out at the airport, watch some NFL, have a few drinks, and have a few laughs. Then I start thinking, wait a minute. Maybe I could get into that first-class lounge. I don't think so. I don't have a first-class ticket, but I have one of these American Express black cards. Maybe
that's supposed to be an open every door card, isn't it?
Supposed to. Well, if you use it to Jimmy doors open.
Physically open a door.
It's physically stout. So you could pry doors with it, but no, it's not recognized.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, they tell you.
Sure.
They tell you when you get this card, you'll just drive down the street and all the street lights will sync up and turn green for you. That's not how it works. But I thought, I'll try to get in. And of course, I walked in, and there's Danny Two Sheets. He's beat me to the first class lounge. And he's converting his premium miles into first class seats. And Daniel's doing all the stuff I wish I could do and I can't do. And it's the kind of thing where I can't do it and other people don't care. That's really, you really realize in life.
There's a Boy Scout offering to help.
Dr. Drew is married to a woman who used to be a travel agent. She cares. Once you get outside of who's actually on the plane and you start kicking it down. Yeah, they just don't care. I don't care about them either. Let's be fair.
As this thought entered my mind, I know the cul-de-sac down which this question will go. But with all your travel and all the credit card and everything and the spending, you've got to be a miles millionaire by now.
It's exactly what Daniel said to me. Daniel just looked at me and go, "Aren't you premium plus platinum by now?" And I'm like, I don't know.
Impossible to say.
I have an expired Exxon card in my backpack. I do not know. But that's how it works. Now, again, if Daniel and I were a gay couple, it would be awesome.
Perfect.
Taken care of. So he's converting all his shit. He's getting his first class upgrade. which is now already bumping me because now Jimmy's flying private and Daniel's getting into first class.
It's like when Bryan flies business.
I was going to say, I probably have more status than Adam on various hotels and airlines, and I have a fraction of his net worth.
At some point, they're saying, and I'm trying to negotiate my way into the lounge. And at some point, Daniel, because he's premium plus platinum, they're going, okay, you and your group, you're welcome in. And I present the thing to the other gal, and she's like, oh, are you with them? And I'm like, yeah, I'm with them. She's like, oh, okay, well, you go in too. Oh. And I go, okay, all right. And I'm like, something's wrong, but
no
okay.
follow-up questions.
Kick my bag, like I literally drop kick my backpack to get it, once you bust the hymen.
Like your baby
threshold.
over the border.
Yeah, I threw it over. Like like the last helicopter out of Hanoi. No, not Hanoi.
Saigon.
Let's
update that.
Something like that.
To Afghanistan.
Afghanistan. The last plane, C-130 Afghanistan. I throw it over the top. And I get about 8 steps into the lounge, and I hear oh, no, sorry. And the chick rushes around, and she comes and retrieves me. I would sort of argue that once you do that, you can't take it back. But okay, brings me back.
It's like on the embassy. You're on French soil.
Yeah.
That's right. So I go, how much? And she goes, $59. And I go, how long am I going to be here? About an hour? Okay. There's some nice bars downstairs that got the game on, but this is... And I just go, fuck it. I'm doing it for the first time ever. I've never bought it. I've tried the lounge 7,000 times. I've been denied 8,000 times, but I am worth it.
You're going to buy your way in.
So I go, $59 it is. Sign up.
You say, make it 70.
Right. I get to the lounge. I walk in. I go to the bar. I go, give me a double vodka, soda, and lemon. They're like, well, we have to charge for cocktails.
What? Then what's the point?
Beer and wine, complimentary, but if you want a cocktail, and I was
That's outrageous.
I was like, what kind of soup we talking here? Lentil. I'm like, I'm out of here.
You got did.
I grab my bags and stuff. I go right back to the woman.
Smashed her credit card.
I'm like, I got to undo this.
Yeah.
Like I did, and I'm like, I came back like I didn't eat anything. I didn't touch cheese. I didn't touch anything.
I barely breathed this air.
I just walked in. I walked out.
You really did.
I did. I said,
good for you.
I said, fuck it. Because I knew there was a nice sports bar down below. They had the games on. Just going to sit at the bar, order a couple, whatever my drink, whatever tab, I wouldn't get to $59.
Right.
That was my whole thing.
And you probably were able to watch more games, just your eyes darting around than you
I was.
In the
so
lounge.
I explained to Daniel and company, I'm out of here. And I got my money refunded, and I went back down and just sat at the bar and happily paid for my drinks.
And gumbo and beer cheese soup and all the good stuff.
You showed them.
So the wedding was great. I told you guys about this already.
Little drizzle, you said?
Don Barris wore a balloon hat.
Now that I think about it, he may have wore like a wreath, like a flowery.
Oh, sure.
Something that a woman.
Like a garland.
A midsummer situation.
Yeah.
Whenever you see Mother Nature depicted in a movie.
Yes.
That's what Mother Nature
like
wears.
A flower crown.
Yes, of course.
On her head.
Yes.
Yes, you can. We might be able to blow it up a little here, but you can see that Don Barris is wearing a flower halo.
A crown.
A crown of flowers on his head while
God.
presiding over the wedding. And by the way, wearing the same crown on the bus ride to the airport the next day. He never took the crown.
He commits to it.
Am I looking at 9 groomsmen?
Yes, a
Holy
lot of
cow.
A lot of groomsmen.
10 maybe.
Yeah.
Unless I'm off account.
So that was great. The food was great. Music's great. People's great. Everything's great. Some people I hadn't seen. Jimmy.
Steak or chicken?
We had the we got
even better.
We got a nice picture of it. The Martin's barbecue, pulled pork,
and baked beans.
All the good stuff. It was good. Jimmy of course has all his friends we went to high school with and stuff. They're still around. The aptly named Jimmy Gentleman, best name ever. His best friend.
He's got to be an escort.
It's perfect. He's the nicest guy in the world. So they're all there. Everyone's there. Everyone's having a good time. Flew back, got Coach Plus, so I got a little foot room on the way back.
You used your status to upgrade?
Yes. No, I paid $63 and got to straighten my leg out another 4.5 inches, which is how it worked. I guess the Emmys went off. Well, maybe I was in the air. I didn't.
Yeah,
It's not really appointment viewing anymore. It's also kind of confusing, again, the categories, because I think Jimmy's in with John Oliver, I think.
Would that be writing for a talk show or variety series, I imagine?
Yeah, and John Oliver's a half hour once a week.
Right.
Which is fine, but
weird.
Anybody who's worked in TV an hour a day, that is the difference between an assembly line and a handcrafted Rolls Royce.
Right.
Like it is just, you can put so much more time.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all time. It's just like you got to crank it out. It doesn't, sometimes you don't have it exactly how you want it during rehearsal. Doesn't matter.
Keep going.
Clock's ticking, moving along. Nominated for Variety Talk Series, also Colbert, Trevor Noah, John Oliver. I think John Oliver wins every year, but he's going to win every year because they just give you a sample of the show to review, and you watch a half hour of the show or an episode of the show, but there's a big difference between doing it every day versus once a week. But either way, they haven't worked it out. And then Drag Race won again.
Sure did.
Every fucking year, which is like, oh, come on. They can't win every year.
Yes, they can.
No,
Shantae,
they cannot.
you stay.
Gayest show
Don't
of the year?
sashay away.
So anyway, like I said, Baby Doll was there, Danny Two Sheets.
Oh, he's a winner either way.
All the usual suspects.
Was there anywhere for him to smoke? Since it was Nashville, he probably had some more options.
Yeah, there was some guys smoking cigarettes and beyond out front of the venue, like to the side. There was because they're the people who smoke, like Baby Doll, and then the people who get drunk and smoke. And a very high percentage of women who, when they get drunk, do smoke. I think it's higher than men.
Really?
I do.
I think you're
feel
right.
like women who aren't daily smokers or daytime smokers, when they catch a buzz, they tend to get out there. We did the move at a certain point where, and I love this about Daniel, he grabbed the chair and we rushed out to the middle of the dance floor.
You did?
And we threw Katie
The hoopah?
on it.
What's
and
that?
Hora.
Hora, and we pulled her up over our head.
How'd it go?
Very good.
Okay, because I just told
The
my
Shivari
DJ
chairs in pieces.
we're going to do the hora, just the hora dancing, but I told him to skip the chairs because I didn't know if I was scared that there wouldn't be enough able-bodied men.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Fuck.
We
No,
did
that's
this.
a good thing for you, Gina.
Her thankfully she and her husband
She had
Will
10 groomsmen.
husband Will's kind of a flyweight, so
Yeah.
that didn't. If we would have tried to get Jimmy's son Kevin up on that bad boy, that would have been some grunt.
Is he a
Some
big
grunt.
fellow?
didn't
He's
do
a
the-
big dude.
and you
I don't
didn't
mean
do the
fat. I
parents.
just mean he's big.
Substantial.
And
Yeah.
you didn't do Jimmy and Molly.
No,
Okay.
no. We just did the bride and the groom.
Did you last the duration of Simcha Tov or Mazel Tov?
No, because we didn't do it during any song in
Oh,
particular.
interesting.
At some point, Daniel just thought it'd be a good idea to commandeer a chair
love
and
it.
rush the dance
That's
floor.
great.
So we did all that. Oh, and Jim Sr., Jimmy's dad, does. I think he does My Girl or Under the Boardwalk or something, but he does the not karaoke version, but the air guitar lip sync version
Wow.
of that song
I didn't
every
see that
time.
coming.
I forgot
No.
about that. There's traditions,
I didn't know that.
a lot of traditions with the
Wow.
Kimmel family. Oh, and here's a little twist on, and I don't know if this exists. It must, but everyone should do it. Which is, we were talking about Chris having a deck put on, right? And the deck fund and people contributing to the deck. Now, Katie had a kind of limited registry of stuff. But if you got locked out of that, and there wasn't any more toasters or air fryers or candlesticks to buy, you could give to a general remod fund.
That's on
clever.
Honey Fund, yeah.
Which just, hey, we're living in a house. It could, one of the bathrooms
Yeah.
ain't what it used to be. We're looking at making a move. And if you get locked out of the gifts, then just contribute to this fund.
It's good.
Smart.
Good,
Is the
right?
extensive, totally off the top of my head, is the extensive registry a bit gauche when you or your family are worth many, many millions of dollars?
Oh, good question.
The extensive, you mean like,
Yeah, like the huge registry, or even a registry,
Or the honeymoon fund.
yeah,
I've not been to too many plotted weddings. I'm wondering if this is how it's done.
I guess, but I will say most of the people I know who are well off, who have kids, their kids are oftentimes just, I live in an apartment in Glendale, or I'm a substitute school teacher, or I got a little house, it's modest, or
Right.
whatever, but we're saving up to fix it up. Like, I don't know.
That's just a waste of my time.
The parents, see, I think there's a division here, which is the responsible and well-to-do and hardworking parents are there to be a safety net,
Right.
but not a ladder. You know what I mean? They're just there so if the kid ever needs rehab or there's a foreclosure or the tax man is coming and wants to get the deed,
Some accident,
they will bail them out. But the day-to-day stuff, it's kind
On
of
you.
up to them. I mean, that
Interesting.
seems to be the deal that I talk to the Mark Garagos and the Dr. Drews and the Kimmels of the world, and they're like, well, she's saving up. She wants to get a Mini Cooper. They're living in this apartment. Like, no one seems to be intervening
Right.
in any real
Good.
way. Yeah, it's how it should be. It's there. If the wheels come off the wagon, we will be there. But if not, it's your wagon.
It's you. And
Right.
also, I wish we were more like the Italians and the Chinese, because that's when it's not just appropriate, but the right thing to do to bring an envelope of cash to the wedding. Like at Italian ones, they'll have a bag, and that's where the cash goes. But Whitey doesn't do that. So you have to have things on registries, or people get very uncomfortable. I'm coming to find out.
All right. Oh, I haven't even been to. Ugh. I mean, We're,
But we have the same thing. We have a down payment fund.
Oh, okay.
Now, I just need a million more guests, and we'll get there in L.A.
Oh, Adam, let's talk over here. Uh-oh. That's you and me going on a gift for Gina. 90-10.
okay. I'll do it. I don't even know. I don't even care anymore. I'm still trying to get Garagos' kid something halfway decent. That thing was all locked out, too.
Jet of hay fuel.
Yeah.
A gallon.
All right. We got a question or two up there. We got some Emmy talk. First, I'll tell you about Tommy John. Fall. Man, chaos in your pants. Overheating 1 second, freezing the next. Yeah, be ready for anything with Tommy John underwear. I'm wearing mine right now. It's the best, especially when you travel. It's very lightweight. You can roll it up. It takes up no room in your bag, but works like a charm. Breathable, lightweight, moisture-wicking fabric with 4 times the stretch of competing brands. Tommy John doesn't have customers. They have fanatics. Over 16 million pairs sold this fall. Upgrade to what you're wearing underneath. That's Tommy John underwear. Luxuriously soft loungewear as well. Oh, as it cools off, you got to get in some of that loungewear. It's the best pair you'll ever wear. It's free, guaranteed. Right, Dawson?
Get 20% off your first order right now at TommyJohn.com/Adam. That's TommyJohn.com/Adam for 20% off. TommyJohn.com/Adam. See site for details.
All right, got a lot more to bring to you, and we'll do all that right after this.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Rich man, get it on. Got a rich man, poor man for you. Evacuated by government aircraft. Definitely not a middle class move. Mahalo.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
All right, we got a couple of your calls up there. We got a little Emmy talk to get into as well. I heard, was Steve Harvey the host?
No, Cedric the Entertainer.
Oh, shit. Black
That was
Simile.
very offensive.
Man. I feel like Steve's the go-to guy in that, but Cedric.
Yeah.
All right. And I heard it was good.
Yeah, I actually have a clip. I don't know if did you see the rap at the beginning?
I
Marquis?
saw nothing of it, but it struck me, things need a host.
Yes.
They just shouldn't be hostless. It flies in the face of the award show or whatever it is you're putting on. Like it just needs somebody at the helm.
Steering it, yeah.
It's also insane how fast as a society we can go from, oh, of course there has to be a host. There's a host every year. We're going hostless. Like, how fast did you guys get there?
1 year.
Yeah, I mean, like we've kind of talked about before, but it's like somebody invented a cell phone, and then the cell phone was around for 20 years before I would part with my landline.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone kept telling me, you don't need a landline. I go, yes, I do. Old habits die hard. We went from host, and Bob Hope and everyone else to pow, no host.
Yep.
We all agreed on it.
Yep.
When was that vote taken? Like, it seems.
I don't think it was.
And then all
Probably around fall of last year.
All the other shows just followed suit.
Yep.
Like, oh, well, they're not having a host. We should.
Yep.
You know, why not have a host?
It is better.
Of course it's better,
but
yes.
Part of the reason we know is because every host that was being considered would get taken down.
Yeah.
Right, because it would be a person who had a fucking sense of humor, and people who've got, once you get to the point where you could join the pool of potential hosts, you're now a comedian who has been there and done that.
You have a career
We
of
don't go with
jokes.
23-year-old unknown open mic Tuesday night. Now you're hosting the Emmys. Like, we don't go for that. We go for long and seasoned. And then long and seasoned means you've spoken into a microphone, you've sent out tweets, you've had conversations because you've been trying to entertain people somewhere near that edge, somewhere near that line.
Where the line used to be.
Where the line used to be, and now we'll just go look up a bunch of shit and you won't be able to host.
Yep.
Probably should have nipped this shit in the bud a long time ago. Maybe with Kevin Hart. I don't know, but somebody should have went, no, we're not doing that. We're not looking up tweets from 2009 and holding it against them. We're running a show. That doesn't mean we condone whatever the tweets were. It just means we want a competent, skilled person to helm this ship.
Well, Cedric the Entertainer must be squeaky clean because he made it through just fine.
Do we have something we want to play? Sorry.
If we give another minute, they could probably find it. But it opens with Cedric coming out and rapping to Biz Marquis' "You Got What I Need," and that's really all funny, and everyone's loving it. And then LL Cool J comes out and he takes over, and it's all like parody written. And then they start passing the mics to celebrities, and that's when we go from LL Cool J to Rita Wilson, and we have that part.
Oh.
Who knew they had so much TV? First year of HBO Max I got for free, and this rap wouldn't be complete. I gotta give a shout out to Sesame Street. So many characters I love, in fact. That's Burton and his business, we don't care about that.
The round's about over, it's about to end. Just wanna say TV, you are my best friend.
And then they give the mics to audience members.
It's such a fine line between. It looks like it's such a fine line between cultural appropriation and just scared whitey. This walks that fine line.
You know what's interesting about this though? Where I found, I was looking for highlights, and it just said like the opening rap. Oh God, why? And I was like, oh, I'm prepared. And I'm like, you know what? This is fun. This is cute. Everyone's having a good time. You don't have to shit on it. I mean,
I agree.
It's a little lame, but everyone was having fun.
It's fine. A little energy, a little something.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Were those rap lip synced?
It suspiciously looked lip synced.
And studio perfect, especially Cedric, who's a big fella. Should be breathing heavily.
There's variation in your vocals when you move the microphone around. There was zero variation. It was in the studio when that was recorded.
The rapper, that was one of the guys up there. And he put his hand so far over his mic. And clearly they didn't want people to think about that. But thank you, Bryan, for ruining the magic.
Well, either way,
I'm the only one who noticed.
A little energy,
ruined magic.
A little music, fine, good. Get a host, have a host. Here we go.
Wasn't that reminiscent of who did the Glenn Close at the Oscars last year? Right?
Yeah,
With the breaking down the
That was a kind of derivative.
Yeah,
like
extremely.
That's probably where they got the idea.
I know, but I've been in those writers'
Yeah.
rooms, and somebody should have raised their hand and went, "That's a funny idea," except for Glenn Close did it.
But we're going to do it
6
way
months
bigger.
ago.
Don't a lot of those writers write for the same award shows?
Yes.
David Wilds of the world?
Yes.
Also, the other super funny thing, and I didn't pull the clip because it's totally visual, but when the president of the Academy or whatever comes out and everyone gives their polite board clap, Conan O'Brien stands up, starts going insane, over the top clapping, and when people finally calm down and the president gives a speech, Conan stays standing and saluting the whole time.
That's funny. All right, got a couple of calls. I got a little compare and contrast for you guys. I'll first talk to Eric, 47, North Carolina. Eric? Oh, boy, did I punch him up? No. Eric?
Yes, I'm here. How are you doing?
Hi, Guy.
Hi, Guy. So I'm a few weeks behind on the podcast, and I was just last week listening to the one where you guys were discussing the unbreakable combs.
Yes.
And I have a memory. You were curious. Because when Chris looked it up, it seemed like a high-end item that you were wondering why you knew about it.
I was?
I remember getting them for school pictures.
No, the unbreakable comb was ubiquitous. It was on every comb I saw between the ages of 5 and 19. That was my argument.
Okay.
It was always on there.
I remember getting them school pictures. They'd always hand them out. And, of course, when you had a bunch of 10-year-olds, a comb that says unbreakable, every single one's broken by the time we get up to
Yeah, the plan was...
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah, it was like putting the sign up at the museum, do not touch the vase.
No,
Everyone
have
has
to.
all the kids have to touch it now. Is that all you had to contribute to the program today, Eric?
Can I do a quick rich man, poor man?
Sure.
You have to have an armed officer with you when you're out in public.
Mm-hmm.
You're either the convicted felon going to court or the CEO.
Yeah.
Be a rich convicted felon.
It's all right.
We're on to
The thing about the cops and the courts, it's kind of low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. Well, Ted Bundy wasn't poor.
Right. A correction.
Timely reference.
Somebody tweeted me that I called, and we can figure this out in real time, that I called Deacon Jones the Minister of Defense. And they said, well, that's Reggie White, the Minister of Defense, which I'm aware of because he's a minister.
Yes.
But it also struck me that Deacon Jones was the Minister of Defense.
His name was
He's a
Deacon,
deacon.
for God's sake.
They called him the Secretary of Defense.
Oh.
Really?
Yes.
Deacon's right there.
I know, and I agree with me. And also, I do not know if there's a difference between the Secretary of Defense and the Minister of Defense. I think they just change as the years wore on. We just changed it from something to the other. But either way, I'm not going to take a W on that one. I'm going to say,
look at you.
I was not the Minister of Defense, but he was the Secretary of Defense, and good enough.
Gina nailed that yesterday in football trivia.
It was one of the ones I got.
I'm sure of it. All right, let me talk to Steve, 38, Space Coast. Oh, we must have talked to you, Steve, before, right?
Oh, yeah. A couple months ago, I called after the Bezos and the Branson flights to space.
You're the photographer,
You're the
right?
photographer, right?
Right, yeah. I'm the photographer. And we just had a pretty epic mission here from the Space Coast. We had the Inspiration 4 mission launch on a SpaceX Dragon, where 4 private citizens went to space, not professional astronauts, and they orbited the Earth for 3 days.
Well, you guys are burning through my stories today.
I gotta tell you, hold on. These are bad days for professional astronauts. Because when I was growing up, if you were a professional astronaut, you were untouchable.
You were the best and the brightest.
You were well above a fighter pilot, a commercial airline pilot.
You were a fighter pilot matched with a mathematician.
Yeah, scientist.
You were Evel Knievel matched with a mathematician. Like, you were beyond. Now it's like, oh, she's 19 and she goes to the local junior college. She's got a learning disability, but we're sending her up.
Spring break, bitches.
Like, we're just taking civvies and throwing them in outer space, and they're coming home fine.
Yeah.
They haven't fucked up any. Not one of them, like, flushed the toilet too many times. Got sucked out or anything. So maybe there's not so much to this astronaut business after all, Steve.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it was a paid trip. 3 of them didn't have to pay because one was a billionaire. But they just splashed down Saturday evening. And I'm wondering, Ace Man, when are you going to take a flight?
I got to find a billionaire friend because I don't know if you're listening to me talking about the first class lounge and it being a little too rich for my blood.
If you can't manage that.
If you're going to profile someone who's going to pay to go into orbit, it's not the dude who wants his money back because it was like lentil soup. Yes.
Do you guys want to do you want to wager a guess as to what movie they were watching when they descended back to Earth?
Is it something stupid like 2001 or Apollo 13?
It's something stupid, and it's right in your wheelhouse. No offense.
Transformers?
No.
Some space-related nonsense?
Spaceballs.
Oh, that's actually pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. Ironic and kind of funny.
Yeah.
I mean, something, if you weren't funny, you would think it was funny.
Now you're talking.
Steve?
Good way to put it.
Yeah.
Well, you look, you're not in the
Spaceballs is
writer's
great, yeah.
room at Kimmel. Those guys aren't going to crack a smile. But if you're at Thanksgiving
That's great.
USA and you're
Guess what
telling
we
that
watched?
story, then you're going to get a big hearty laugh from
That's
your
good.
uncle who's
Yeah.
like had a few too many.
Yeah.
Steve, sorry.
Yeah, it's only a cool about $50 million a seat. Maybe
Oh, it
get
is.
some of your rich buddies, get some Jimmy Kimmels and others to go on a man show reunion flight, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think I could cop a seat on that private jet leaving Nashville. So this would be kind of a tall order. But thanks, Steve. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think it would be really cool for you to go up there, and I'd love to hear your perspective on looking at the Earth for 3 days from orbit. That's kind of what I was thinking, because they got this cool cupola, this big bubble window at the
Where was he the other day?
Of the capsule.
For all those.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. My theory is my feel a boob, stand up on a surfboard feeling, which is if you've done both of those things, they're exactly as you thought they would be pre the experience.
Sure.
Okay.
Standing up on a surfboard feels exactly like
You would
what
think it
you
would.
thought it would be, and so does a boobie when you hadn't felt one at 15. They feel
You're like,
exactly.
yeah, more or less right.
And I could feel
I've never experienced this.
floating in space and looking down on the Earth. I feel like I already feel like I know it.
Yeah.
But maybe it's because movies have done such an incredible job of capturing
Yeah.
it over the last
True.
few years.
But you'd be actually a really good candidate because of your low resting pulse.
Oh, yeah.
I would have to do 3 years of cognitive behavioral therapy before I'd get in that thing, but you would just get in.
Yeah, I would go for it, but at $50 million. And by the way, when somebody buys you, when you're 23 and somebody buys you a $50 million ride to go to outer space and then splash down, aren't you essentially that person's slave
Yes.
for the rest of your life?
You're their indentured servant. You're never going to work it off.
Your own blood debt.
You think that person could call you and go, hey, you think you can pick me up at the airport? And you go, I don't know, the Raiders are coming on in 20 minutes.
It's overtime.
I mean, if no one else will do it.
Is the Uber stand, can you get that at the terminal now? Or is it just a short shuttle ride? Like, I just feel like, if you're going to do it with a bunch of 26-year-olds who will essentially be your indentured servants for the rest of your natural life.
It's a good call.
All right, let's see. Dave Schulman. Oh, Dave Schulman says he went to high school with me. Dave Schulman. Dave Schulman?
Adam, how are you?
Good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. We're all, I live in Solana Beach. We're all looking forward to seeing you down there. I want to give you a heads up.
I was just thinking about that. I'm happy you're coming out. Dave Schulman had great hair back when it meant something.
Was it feathery like Leif Garrett?
It was totally feathery, and Adam used to totally make fun of my hair.
I loved it.
why.
What do you mean? Listen, Dave, first off, you kids, I just got back from a wedding. There were people upper age of the range were 70s, mid-70s. Lower end were the kids, 5, 6 years old. There was no one haircut. Everyone just went with the best haircut that suited them follically.
Right.
Not back when Dave and I went to junior high or high school. Junior high, there was a haircut. That was feathered. I could not do that with my hair. Dave.
Yeah, you could. There was no way, Adam. There was no way you could do that with your hair.
No possible way.
That would be an impossibility.
We get it, Dave.
Dave did a move. I was so envious of this move. Dave used to carry his unbreakable comb with him.
Of course.
He had a comb. Dave would do a move. He'd hang his head down, invert it. Invert it.
Yep.
Comb against the grain.
And just
then
whip it.
pop up.
Yeah, like the Little Mermaid.
Every once in a while, you do a double pump. Boom, boom, pow. The hair would just land. I look like fucking Eraserhead.
So it is true. It is exactly what I did. That's funny you remember that.
I remember it burned in my psyche. And
Tell
let
me
me
he's
tell you,
bald now. Tell me he's bald.
no, I think he's still got a good head.
No, I got a good head of hair
Son
still.
of
I'm
a
lucky. That's
bitch.
all I got.
Let me tell you, Dave, I think to myself all the time, like I have these little thoughts. I had one the other day. I don't know if you guys ever have these thoughts, but when I was, I think to myself, like when I was 23, if somebody said, look, sign this piece of paper, the devil crafted, it will ensure that you make $1 million in your life, but you will die by the age of 50. I would have went, give me that paper.
Yeah. More money
At
than
the
you'll ever
time.
see.
When I saw Dave Schulman do the double pump with the flip back, I would have definitely traded. If the devil had crafted 2 toes and a pinky finger, or just shaved 14 years off your life, I would have signed it.
Yeah.
Right there.
Bargain at any
Dr.
price.
Faust.
And I just feel like that kind of personal momentum really was the wind beneath your wings, Dave. Am I right?
Well, that's true. I mean, I was too small to play football, and you used to tell me that all the time. I think we played football one time, and you told me that I was far too small and not good enough, but I could serve. So that was about the extent of it.
Oh, you could play tennis. That's right.
Serve
Yeah,
or
I didn't play
surf?
tennis.
Yeah,
I didn't play tennis. I
served.
served.
Yeah, well, that's surf. Sorry, I
surf.
thought you said serve.
Yeah,
surf.
that's
The
all
point
right.
is neither one involves a helmet where your
Yeah.
glorious hair could not be appreciated by the fans.
Yeah.
No. I could just shake it in the water. That's all I could do.
Oh, my God.
Enhance.
I'm seeing it in slow motion right now. Literally combing against the grain and then a double pump
Yeah.
and pow.
Like Ariel the Little
just
Mermaid.
land.
Yeah.
Where were you when somebody told you about feathered hair and you realized, my God, I'm the perfect candidate for this? Do you remember where you
know
were,
what?
Dave?
Yeah, it was my neighbor. My neighbor who was much older than me and super hot. She goes, "You should do your hair this way." And I was like, "All right, no problem."
Wow.
It was a kind of cross. You gotta. All right. There was Leif Garrett, who had the big hair, had the feather going, but it was the Cassidy brothers that really sealed the deal on the male side.
That's right.
Brought it home.
That's right. Yeah.
The ladies, it was Farrah Fawcett
Right.
and many others, but for the men, it was the Cassidy brothers who had that perfect feathered hair. Was that that must have been groundbreaking for you, David, when your neighbor switched you over to the feathered look and you realized I can go be the king of 9th grade simply based on this hairstyle?
It was actually in 8th grade. However, it was a life changer, and still is.
Yeah.
And everybody still talks about my hair. Just so you know that.
I mean, look, I'll be honest. I was bitter up until recently. And I mean recent. I mean, like 3 years ago.
I think you can tell.
Wasn't yesterday.
Right.
But
That'd
you
be
know,
insane.
now that I've gotten a little distance from your feathered hair, I'm starting to really appreciate it now.
You come to terms.
Yeah, like
Accepting it.
yeah.
Well, my feathered hair. Look forward to seeing you guys down here on Tuesday. We're going to come to both shows and say hello.
Oh
And,
wait, is it Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Sorry.
Is it Wednesday? Are you guys here Tuesday or Wednesday?
Wednesday.
I was told Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know for a fact it's Wednesday.
Yes, but come to both shows, David, and we'll come out.
So
come
I'm
backstage.
going to come to both shows. Can I bring you a cocktail or anything, or you guys need some places to go have a drink or some food somewhere?
We're gonna pretty much just blow into town, do the 2 shows, and blow out because it's a long
I'll
bus
be
ride.
kicking in the
for us.
green room for an hour while you guys do show number 2. So
Yeah.
bring treats.
Feel free to order stuff to the stage.
I will bring you guys some cocktails up to the stage. I'll have Claudia bring some cocktails from the belly up.
Thank you, David. I look forward to you and the hair.
All right, look forward to seeing you guys.
See you, brother. Take care.
Wow.
Yeah. That was really like, I couldn't even associate really with him because there was such a chasm between my hair and his hair.
Absolutely. You're one of the untouchables, the caste system.
Yes. Yeah, I was probably not welcome in his circle.
No.
I understood it. It's not like
you accepted it.
It was understood.
It's funny because he's off the phone, right?
Yeah.
It's not a great look. I'm looking at it now.
Well, at the
now,
time.
of course, I understand, but I'm trying to figure out what the girls were like. Check that, Andy Gibb looking guy out.
But imagine if the deal was there is simply one haircut.
Yeah.
Now,
you can pull it off or you can't.
if you're Dave Schulman, good.
Yeah.
If you're Adam Carolla or Nate Wittenberg, you're fucked, right? But the point is that's the only hairdo.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you see these guys like, you watch, you see.
Oh, is that him?
Is that him today?
Well, there's a lawyer named David S. Schulman with great hair.
Yeah, that's him.
He looks a nice looking guy.
His hair.
That's a surfer.
No, that's David. Yeah, his hair's
That's
good. Yeah.
Find Adam's yearbook for God's sake.
It's honestly, again, like it's like the early 70s when everyone needed long hair. I don't care how bald you were. You combed it over, you dragged it out, you did whatever. It's like nobody, there was one hairstyle. That was the hairstyle. That's what it was. Women, ironically, the women had a little latitude because they had the Dorothy Hamill.
Oh, God, that's your other choice.
Yeah.
There was a shorter version of your hair.
Yeah, like a modified bowl.
Yeah, but man, when I saw him do that double pump, I was like really gilding the lily there, Dave, with the double.
Yeah.
The double. And then also the notion of me combing my hair backwards.
Oh, my God.
Against, I would have just popped up and looked like I was wearing one of those styrofoam pieces of cheese that they wear at the Green Bay game. That's what my hair would have looked like an answer Gina couldn't get.
That's right.
In a trivia competition. All right. Any Dave Schulman from the yearbook?
Yeah, it's loading up right now.
Oh, man. It was glorious.
What was the other? It was Sean and who was the other Cassidy? David.
Also,
I have no idea.
Can I tell you this? The hair, the right feathered blonde hair, opened up a world of possibilities. For instance, Jufro, you couldn't wear puka shells.
Oh, no.
You looked like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
That
like a mental
hair,
patient.
that would support puka shells.
Yeah.
You're right.
You wear puka shells, you can wear surf shirts undone. Like you could do anything with that hair. It was a top down, trickle down, follicle down situation. You could wear some cool OP shorts. You could wear some Vans, some slip-on Vans.
Yeah.
Like you could really adopt an entire look.
Right.
The surfer
a lifestyle.
look. Yes,
Yeah.
it was a lifestyle. Oh, look at him.
It's more glorious than I imagined.
I told you it was glorious.
He's wearing a necklace.
I told you I couldn't wear them. I could barely pull off like a plastic Italian horn.
Wow, that is majestic. You got to bring that picture to the show.
I'm telling you, I knew how to pick them.
That is, I'm jealous. I covet that hair.
Well, I wouldn't give.
As a Jew, oh my God! Between the three of us,
his hair is it's spectacular.
Like duck
it's
feathers,
blonde. It's
soft.
You could dust your shells of that shit.
And look at and he knows it. Look at that look in his eye.
That's right.
Oh my God! Come at me,
Dave
bro.
fucking Schulman.
It's back. It's back when your hair was about 60 to 80% of your entire junior high school experience back then. Now, whatever. Do whatever you want with your hair, whatever works.
That's glorious.
All right, let's see. Best enchiladas and cheese. I'm interested in this.
Oh, look at where he's from, Adam.
Oh, San Antonio. What? Carmelo, 32.
All right, I'm on the Carolla one, man. This is awesome. How you doing, guys?
What's going on?
What's happening?
Hi, guy.
Hey, real quick, Gina and Bald Bryan, man. That was I listened. I guess it was y'all recorded it yesterday, but it came out today. That was awesome. Gina, you had me sitting there listening to Alanis Morissette and all these damn 90s. Yeah, I guess I'm a tool. I was tooling it up all the way home.
Thank you. Yeah, we did. I did a Tool Tune edition Lilith Fair. So it's pretty fun.
Good. What do you got, Carmelo?
Yeah.
So, Adam, the last time, I think I missed you. You were here at the Majestic, I think, the last time, or maybe the Aztec.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one you were at. But you had posted something on Twitter as you were leaving. Like, you made kind of a sour face saying that, like, when you find out the enchiladas are made with American cheese. And I think that's funny because, like, to me, honestly, maybe it's the poor man enchiladas that, you know, we grew up with or whatever. But my dad always used to say that government cheese was the one that was the best. That, you know, my grandma, that was what they get. You know, there were 7 of them, and my grandpa was like a janitor, so, you know, they didn't make shit. I'd like to support that. Government cheese was always the best enchiladas. That, like, he would ask certain restaurants, like, he would kind of single it out and ask them, what kind of cheese are you using? You know, like he wanted to get some of that shit. You know what I mean? But I guess he didn't want to have to go and, you know, I get work hard enough. You know, you're not going to get government cheese anymore. I guess it still tastes good. You know what I mean?
Trust me. I think I would imagine the similarity of American cheese and government cheese is that it melts. It melts more evenly as opposed to just a shredded cheese that came from God,
All right.
in the earth.
Now, the reason your dad will die a janitor.
Oh God.
Well, no, actually, my dad's an electrician. My grandpa was a janitor. My dad's a master electrician.
The reason your grandfather died a janitor.
He's still alive and drinking.
His grandpa's 58.
The reason your grandfather's an alcoholic janitor and will take it to the grave is because he is not progressing in life. One must be a janitor for a couple of summers and then go, fuck this noise.
Yeah.
I got to see about getting a higher degree or some form of vocational training. I need to progress. It's the exact same gene that kept him into the government cheese. Everyone grows up on the shitty cheese, and at some point you go, F this. I want the good stuff. Now, I will, and I can't think of the name of it, but there's plenty of room for the Mexican cheese in there. What is the
queso
white?
fresco?
Yeah.
Queso fresco?
There's room for that in there. The other thing, here's my whole thing with American cheese. If you're going to order things, well, first off, I can't tell you how many human beings do not understand the difference between cheese and American cheese.
It's right. It's not real. I get it.
No,
but the thing is, though, too, you got to figure the food, though.
Hold on. I mean, look.
Not just that. They just don't know that there is a difference. Like, those are different kinds of cheese.
Yeah, it'd be like there's grape soda and there's grape juice. And you're going, yeah, great. What are you talking about?
Like, Sunny D and orange juice. It's the same thing, right?
No, yeah. It's different. It's a different thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Chef and pasta.
Cool and whipped cream.
Yes, they're both like the same color and the same family or phylum or something, but it is not the same thing. People are insane. Here's the tricky one. You'll order, I was ordering a hamburger the other day, and I was like, what kind of cheese you got? And they go, we have American cheese, and we have pepper jack. And I'm like, a lot of time pepper jack is American. It is American. Yeah. It's synthesized.
With the red dots in it.
Thing in it. And then I go, is the pepper jack cheese? Is it like cheese?
So is that?
She's like, yeah, it's cheese. It's American cheese, pepper jack cheese. Like, first, if you work at a fucking restaurant, you really don't. But here's my whole thing with
block of cheddar back there.
My thing is like it's fake. It's okay. Here's my point. All I need is a heads up. First things first. It's not the same. Just like if you ordered grape juice and they brought you grape soda, perfect, better, Sunny D, and orange juice. It is not the same thing. It's different, but it's substantial enough. And all they have to do is give you a heads up.
Sure.
So you go, I'll have cheese enchiladas, or I'll have a cheeseburger. And they go, okay, it is not this.
Right.
It is that. And then once they do that, then that's up to you.
Right.
You can change your order, you can modify your order. But so many people who work at restaurants are just like, well, it's cheese. What the fuck? I mean, don't you feel like when you were 9, don't you feel like you knew the difference between the Kraft single slice and the piece of cheddar that you cut off?
Of course. Not only that, I liked the American cheese better when I was 9.
Right.
Most 9-year-olds do.
Unlike this guy's alcoholic janitor, no count,
dead
grandfather, he did not evolve as you did.
No, yeah, Grandpa's still, I don't think he gives a shit what he eats anymore, but, like I said, my dad couldn't just go get the government cheese either. Like you're talking about, Adam, I guess, yeah. I mean, he became a master electrician or whatever. And, obviously we weren't. And that's honestly why I like your show, too. You talk about being a carpenter and shit. It's kind of cool to hear, somebody out there that's got a podcast that their parents weren't some kind of fucking, professor or some shit. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
disdain.
Yeah. No, I had the white collar in my family, although not the earning part of the white collar. Ugh. You know what I had?
Wait, your dad was a professor.
I had all the baggage of the white collar, the fucking horrible attitude and the high hat and all that, minus any of the income.
Minus the prestige and the status.
Like if your dad's like a really successful surgeon, maybe he's a douche, but at least you live in a big house.
Right. You get a car when you're 16.
But if your dad's a blue-collar guy, then you're going to go play a lot of catch out in the front yard, and he's going to build you a basketball hoop. I got all the fucking shitty baggage of the white collar minus any of the income. Oof. All right. Oh, man, I was working construction today, Carmelo. You guys would not. I'll get into it in a later show, but I was, I did some things are a little bigger, a little heavier, a little more involve a little more risk and a little more planning. Today was a big day for that. Ooh. So I did some serious work, but I'll get to that because our guest is here. Let me tell you about a podcast, Business Wars podcast on Wondery. Yeah, in the 90s. 2 new hip-hop record labels shocked parents and won fans worldwide, selling tens of millions of albums. The Business Wars podcast from Wondery has the story of Death Row and Bad Boy Records, changing American music and how the East Coast and West Coast rivalry turned deadly. Oh, man. Yeah, remember those days? Larger-than-life characters, Tupac, Biggie, Dr. Dre, Snoop, Puff Daddy, Suge Knight, all those guys in a heated battle, and it's all broken down beautifully and episodically by the Business Wars podcast. And you can listen to Business Wars podcast, Business Wars Death Row versus Bad Boy. It's on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or you can listen 1 week early and ad-free by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app. That is Business Wars Podcast. All right, let's see.
Look at that face.
Well, the thing about when
what is this?
When you eat, that's
the cheese enchilada.
The bad enchilada. Okay.
The problem with bad food,
which is gone off the plate, by the way.
It's like the
that was me.
Oh, okay.
I gave it to Chris. I travel with
put it on the ground.
I travel with a crow and a pelican.
Yeah.
So I can feed them whatever scraps happen that aren't good enough for my discerning palate.
Sure, of course.
But I will say, I've never had an enchilada made with American cheese because I don't have an alcoholic grandfather. So it's like the first bite is, this tastes curious. Your mind, let me tell you something about your mind. Your mind is constantly trying to help.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Famously, when Jimmy told us to eat the clam soup, I had to eat the bisque, and it was, I knew something was wrong. I took the first bite, and it was clam chowder, and I was like, oh, something's wrong. And then Jimmy's like, no. It's smoked. And my brain went to that place of like, okay, I'm going to try to make you correct. And I took the next bite, and I was like, I think. And he's like, nope, you missing it. And I was like, okay. That's what I was doing with the cheese enchiladas.
Because whether it's enchiladas or clam chowder, the one thing is wrong with it, but there's between 5 and 25 other elements or ingredients where you're like,
fine.
Everything else tastes normal.
It's got the sauce, it's got the tortillas, it's got everything else, and yes.
And that's why when people smell something bad, they smell it harder and fast. Like, what is that? But it's bad, but that's your brain trying to just figure out what the hell it is.
We got Ian Bagg, comedian, who's going to join us, and we'll do that right after this. Ian Bagg, comedian Ian Bagg in studio. He's got some live dates coming up. Oxnard Levity Live, nice club, played there a few times. October 8th through the 10th. And then Irvine Improv, another great place, October 14th through the 16th. Sword and Scale Rewind is the podcast, and it's a companion show to Sword and Scale with our own Matt the Porcelain Punisher, Fondelier.
He knows how to punish porcelain, that guy.
And how?
I'm proud of that nickname I gave him because,
It's strong.
Sir Shits a lot or whatever. It's like, it's all fine. Been there, done that. But Porcelain Punisher,
It's his wrestler
it
name.
paints a picture,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
We need one for the Sword and Scale. We got like a murder washroom murderer or something like that. Yeah, so.
Well, I was
Bowl killer.
Yeah.
I was just seeing. I'm curious what you guys think. In the news, they had this whole story about the blonde, and they found
we'll
her
get there.
now, and all that.
You're
all
leaving
that,
me with very little for the news
all
today.
that kind of stuff. But I was thinking about this. So we go. Well, the boyfriend is on the lam, I guess.
Yeah.
But he was not being interviewed or talking to police or anything like that. And then we all go, aha. You know what I mean? But as I think about it, does anything ever good come from those news conferences or press conferences or sit downs? It just seems like nothing good. And also,
low upside.
Well, I mean, it's sort of like when Kathy Griffin did the head cut off with the ketchup thing on it. It had kind of gone away, and then she did this big emotional thing.
Can I mention that?
Don't do that.
The weird thing about her with the head cutting off the head and stuff like that, she said she lost her audience. I was like, that wasn't the GOP that was going out to see her at the beginning. So I don't know how she lost anybody on that. It was very bizarre to me.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, she had an audience. Her audience was progressive and gay and democratic, and you screwing around with Trump earned you a few points. Yeah, it'd be like saying, Colbert saying, ever since I made fun of Trump, I lost the audience.
Yeah.
Like, no, you didn't. You got more audience.
Now you're winning.
Yeah.
Right. And so I always kind of talk to Mark Garagos and like, would you tell your client to go out? And he'd be like, absolutely not. Nothing.
Unless it's a sports interview. That's the only time you go out. I've been traded.
That's right.
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, you don't go, I wasn't involved in a murder.
I'm
Never
retiring.
Go for that one. Yeah.
So the guy is, I guess, on the lam now.
Correct.
That's
He is.
He is.
He's on the run.
He is a person of interest that they cannot find.
Oh, because he was like at home with his parents or something, wasn't he? Like
They were
as of
checking
a few days ago.
Yeah, they were checking the
anybody-
nature reserve behind the house.
It's a good
and
sign.
He ain't there.
Check his bedroom.
Yeah.
They
They look under the bed.
Come on.
Hey.
There's nobody played hide and seek.
Listen, has anyone ever seen Bad Ronald?
I mean, stairs.
It literally built him a room inside the house and
Right.
stashed him inside the house. And it's kind of like, well, I mean, you tell me how crazy this is.
Okay.
I'm a journeyman carpenter, and I have a troubled son.
Yeah.
So I think this may factor in at some point. My skill set, his lack of skills. I think the point is
Bad Sonny.
Bad Ronald killed somebody when he was like 13. And his mom said, we got to hide you in the house because what are the chances the 13-year-old's going to, thumb his way to Muncie, Indiana and like live off the land, you know what I mean? So they took a lot of his clothing, they took a suitcase, they filled it up and they threw it in like a dumpster. Like it looked like he packed up his
very
room
Sopranos.
in a hurry,
Yeah.
right? And then it's like old house with second story, and underneath the staircase and sort of behind the pantry in the kitchen was a little crawl space. Old houses had space in there, and then you stash him there. And of course, the cops show up and they're thumbing around and they're looking around. Where is he? Well, he left. He didn't leave a note or whatever. But you don't hear him knocking on walls or pulling off drywall or anything.
Far from it.
I would say you stand a better chance of staying stashed underneath the stairs.
Yeah.
But how boring would it be stuck under an old house?
Well, now you sound like Anne Frank.
Sorry.
Well, what happened?
She was bored too. Come on.
With Bad Ronald.
Look all the writing she did.
Bad Ronald's mom died.
Oh,
and a new family moved in.
No way.
You have to
And
disclose
he's
that.
still living under
You're
the
a
stairs?
builder. You have to disclose that.
No, the new family moves
You have to
in.
disclose that.
They move in, and they have 3 cute blonde daughters.
Oh, no.
And he's starting to go nuts living in his staircase.
Coming of age.
Oh,
And
boy.
he's starting to fantasize.
Oh, good.
He's knocking on the walls, not with his hand.
Dabney Coleman's in this?
He's the dad
Amazing.
of the new family.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And so the girls, I imagine, discover Bad Ronald.
Well, it starts off.
He discovers them.
It starts off kind of innocently, like who finished the chocolate cake? Not
Ronald.
me. It was a full chocolate cake last night. Now it's gone. I didn't finish. Bad Ronald got out at night.
Sure,
I
love this.
Then there's always, and this is something that was a big part of my childhood in TVs.
Yeah.
You know, because they always had the tropes. The nosy neighbor.
Oh, sure.
Gladys, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So they'd all go
Mrs.
off to
Achmonic.
work. Yeah, they'd go off to school and work, and he'd come out and want to get that chocolate cake. But guess who was
peeking through the
snooping?
curtains.
Snooping
She knows
around.
something's up.
We live next to her.
That's right. Do you have one of them?
We had one of those.
A nosy
Joy
neighbor.
Adams, Sandra Adams' mom. Oh, God, got me in trouble for everything.
Who are the people that just go, what do you do for a living? I stay home and bust people in
That's
the
right.
neighborhood. Wayne Scott's mom called one day because me and my buddy Chris Bohm were like, we're playing hooky. Like, we're staying home. We're going to ride our dirt bikes. Oh, not with
Phone
Wayne
calls must be
Scott's
made.
mom. Not while she was in charge. She fucking passed us in her Suburban and dropped a fucking dime on us at like
No
10:30 in the morning. Like, just, could you imagine that?
She didn't need to do that.
The best part of our age is it was a dime at that time, and she had to
Yeah,
stop.
she's right.
Yeah, she had to stop. She had to physically
put an effort into
go somewhere and go. I don't know if you're aware of this, Walter Reed Junior High, but you got a couple of students out there. They don't seem sick to me.
Did she get you in trouble for a lot of things, or was it just the one time?
That was enough.
Mrs. Adams got me in trouble for everything.
I remember
Everything.
Wayne Scott's mom driving past us and dropping the dime. I remember my friend Chris's mom's friend, like Joyce. She got into me because I woke up in the middle of the night. She was like sleeping over, and I got into the refrigerator. I was rabid. I was like, I don't have food at home. You know, I was like, I'm going to get some Nilla wafers. And like, she come, young man, excuse you.
Young man.
You know, I was like, oh, God
Your
damn.
big crime was being hungry.
Yes, you are. Do you own that pantry? Did you buy those Nilla wafers? Like, oh, you're fucking 55, bitch. Really? Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
She was just mad because she was probably stealing at the same time.
I think who were these adults?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're of their age now.
Right.
We're the age they were.
Oh, nice.
Could you imagine going to people's homes and yelling at other people's kids who are trying to eat something out of a pantry?
Oh, my God.
Not even like your house.
No, but we definitely had to ask. We didn't just ask the parents. We had to ask the friend, like, Laura, can we go in your kitchen and can you get it? Like, that was our move. You have to ask the kid as the liaison.
Right. You have to get it.
Sounds like you grew up rich.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you need to mule those saltines into the den.
Don't make
I'll
a
wait
big show of
here.
it.
You go
Yes.
get them. I can't be seen helping myself to your shit.
But there's always that one kid that had a fridge in their room for no apparent reason.
Oh, really?
that kid.
That's a Canadian.
Blair Lutz had beer at 14 in his bedroom.
Most Canadian
That's the
thing I've
legal
ever
drinking
heard.
age in Canada, I'm pretty sure.
We were probably disappointed in the age he started at 14.
You
waited long.
knew a guy with a fridge in his room.
His parents owned a vacuum place. I don't know if it was part of that.
Front.
He had a vacuum in there as well. Like, he had all that kind of stuff.
Imagine these bizarre rituals. I'm thinking back on Grandpa Al Lewis, friends from the Munsters. I was friends with his kid.
No way.
The older,
it's way better than Blair Lewis.
Well, he hit me. But the older brother Dave used to dip Red Man.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Chew.
And his entire wall was wallpapered with the pouches to spend. Imagine your 17-year-old. This entire
Cool guy.
wall. Like, people do that with beer bottles and
Yeah.
scotch, but there were 16 or 17 back in the day.
One of my friend's cool older brothers had beer bottles lining the wall. Beers he had spent or drank or whatever.
Right.
But the Red Man is and the same bag over and over again.
Yes.
He probably has leukoplakia by now.
Yeah, not since
He's got no
Dawson
tongue.
and his Marlboro miles
That's right.
have we seen such a garish display.
Takes him down.
Making it rain with camel bucks.
It was a weird and different time. Like,
who wants a duffel bag?
Well, that was the thing. Like, the comparison, dropping a dime on you, having a 16-year-old with beer. Like, do you care about us or do you not care about us? Are you in our business or are you not in our business?
right.
Wow.
Because simultaneously, you would get yelled at for grabbing wheat thins from
Right.
somebody's house without a written consent from
Right.
their parents.
Right.
But then moments later, you're in the back of the guy's pickup truck standing up while he's doing donuts in the
best.
parking lot, and they're signed off on it completely. So
Yeah.
which is it? Are you like a disciplinarian
or
this?
free for all?
Like, which is
Right.
it?
Yeah.
It all seemed to surround food. Food was
Helping
something
yourself.
different back
Right.
then. It was no like I sit around my fucking house now. The doorbell rings at 10:15 on a Thursday. I'm like, what's going on? There's a guy dropping off Grubhub. My daughter and all her friends come and grab their shit and go in the next. And there was not only there were rules about the food, whose food it was, who bought that food, blah blah blah. But 1,000 rules about where you could eat that food.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was not, we're taking this shit in the living room
The
and
hell
sitting
you are.
the fuck you are.
That's because it was shag rug time.
Right.
That's why.
Can't get saltines out of that.
Yeah, you can't. Never. Now I just sweep it up.
No.
Yeah, that's like dropping a load in a perm.
It's been said many times.
There ain't all the shampoo in America
Not
ain't gonna
Dave
clean that
Schulman's
out.
hair.
Sorry.
You gotta wait till winter till it freezes up. Knock it out.
I never told this story before, but it's just I had a repressed memory just come back to me. 4th or 5th grade, so I'm 9 or 10. I remember the school I was in, and there was something for our class. Our class had, let's say, 22 kids, and there were 30 cupcakes, and it was like someone's birthday or something, right? And they brought in the cupcakes, and everyone got one. Everyone's enjoying one. It's the end of class, and we're blah blah blah. I'm a chubbier kid at that age, and I'm a doughy kid, and I was always hungry. And would you know, if there's 5 or 7 cupcakes left over, I saunter on over, grab number 2, take a bite. The teacher fucking bitches to you. What even my teacher? It was the other classroom's teacher. Goes, Brian Bishop, if I could make you spit that out, I would. I'm like, for this?
Right. Well,
she
what was their...
admonished
You know,
me in front
you
of
know
the whole
why?
class.
Because their party in their room just lost
right, 'cause
lost a cupcake.
That could have been a
Yeah,
teacher's
that's why.
lounge cupcake.
We could have had 9 people at the party instead of 8.
She admonished me loudly.
Just a weird...
Fucking say anything. Looks like it worked.
An extra cupcake.
Dominion over other people's kids. You could yell at other people's kids all you wanted. We had... there was the mean dads. Who even has a mean dad in their neighborhood anymore? My kids don't have, they didn't grow up with Mr. Vendig. Mr. Vendig would come home from work and he was fucking pissed. Like, don't.
Just an angry looking dude, right?
First off, he could be pre-steamed because all you'd have to do is leave a bike or a skateboard or some shit in the driveway that he couldn't pull into the garage, and he came in with a fucking head of steam, like loaded for bear about the bike and the driveway and having to get out of the car and everything else. And they were horrifying. Mr. Truex lived next door to me. I was scared shitless of him. Mr. Vendig was scared shitless. No one was scared of my pussy dad. But also, he didn't have any wheat then, so there's
He
no,
didn't have anything
no
to trade.
purchase there.
What's it going to take away from us?
I've told you
Nothing.
before that I was sent home from a sleepover because I think, I don't know, like moonlighting or evening shade or, I don't know, something to do with the evening was on, and I went to turn it to something that kids would want to watch, and I accidentally knocked over somebody's milkshake because we all had McDonald's like strawberry milkshakes, and I was sent home.
That's the other thing too is
They make weird moves, man.
You
They make weird moves.
You could have been destroyed for mistakes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Innocent. I remember it clear as a bell. Mr. Vendig. He pulled out a cheap badminton set, and I've told this, but it's been years. And he was like, set it up in the backyard, and we're all playing badminton, and it was just one of those, $29 with 8 rackets and shuttlecocks and a net and everything. And in my racket, the grip started to come undone.
Oh, no.
Like, it was just like cheap. It wasn't even
Totally your
leather.
fault.
It was that weird fake
synthetic.
half
Tape.
leather. The stuff they made the patch on Levi 501s out of in later years, where it's some weird cellulose thing from China. And it just wrapped up to the top and had like a little nail in it or something. It just came loose, and it was unraveling as I was playing it. And I was like, I'm going to have to pay for that. It's like, I'm going to destroy it. And I was like trying to wrap it like in between sets. Like, Adam, come on. I was back turn and then hold my hand over it. So when you got to hold the racket lower. No, I'm good. I'm good up here. Because and then I remember
Time
the
for
whole
somebody else, nope.
thing was like, I got to place this back in the box now so they don't see that I broke that. Like,
no.
you broke that racket. Like, just knocking something over, breaking something, an accident of some kind. Like you were busted, man.
Oh,
Mom said not to play ball in the house. That was an entire episode of the Brady Bunch where the fucking cheap vase broke. Yeah.
Please let me get this off my chest. It'll be so cathartic. I think I may have told this before, but a friend of mine lived down the street, and both her parents were home, and I was at her house playing. And my dad had called and said he's a jogger. He was going to jog and drop off some change for me so we could go get ice cream at the pool. They had like a snack bar window that you didn't have to be inside the pool. And I saw he had run by, whatever, we were upstairs playing Barbies. Come down, I see change on the coffee table. And I thought that must be mine. I was kind of shy, so I didn't really want to ask the parents. So I picked it up because I thought it was mine. The dad grabbed my wrist and asked me what I thought I was doing. And I said, oh, I thought that was my change. And I'll never forget this. He looks at me and he still grabs my wrist. He goes, I'll let you get away with it this time.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
And we never cleared that up. He thinks I'm a thief.
Can we say his name?
Mr. McCoy.
Oh, I hate him.
I hate that
Julie's
guy.
dad.
Beast.
What happened? So where did these people find the time?
I don't know.
I guess it's like there's certain activities, and I just look at it as almost kind of somewhere between beneath me and a kind of waste of my time. Like, why are you trying to coach up every kid in your house?
Yeah.
Was everyone just sort of
Wait, all you do is coach up people in your house.
Oh, they don't listen. I don't.
Not the friends.
I leave
waste of time.
The friends. I don't tell them. I saw a kid. I told you I saw a kid roller skating through my house.
That's true.
No way. It wasn't even one of the friends. You just came right on through.
Random kid.
Doors open.
Yeah,
it's like a nice flow.
Style. Yeah.
I think it's back then. It was payback for things that happened to them when they were a kid.
Oh,
and we suddenly at some point we switched over to, I'm never going to let that happen to anybody.
Because they were kids post World War II, right? Like their military dads are coming home and they're still in the fucking military mindset.
Yeah.
Think about how childhood was for them.
Yeah.
Oh, everything was food based. So weird.
Yeah, because it didn't come in a tin. That's when they were excited.
Right. It wasn't MRE.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have our intro for Body Bagg?
Yeah.
It's time
There has been another murder.
for Ian Bagg's Body Bagg.
Let me tell you, those murders don't stop. They just keep
Gift that keeps on giving.
coming.
Yeah.
When Matt says, "Isn't it fun?" I'm like, somebody died. That's what I have to say.
Sacrificed their life for the show.
The one we've been talking about, we did, I think, 2 weeks ago. They were obviously it was a woman was trying to break up with her husband, but she couldn't, so she killed him.
Oh, yeah. How'd that go?
It didn't go well for her.
Well, we're talking about it, so obviously didn't go according to plan.
Yeah, she got caught. But she tried to trick him into a sexy game. You know, one of those, I'm going to rub something on your body and you're going to figure out what it is.
What was it?
It was knives.
A knife. It was a knife.
Oh.
It was a knife.
Was it?
Yeah. Put it through his ribs into
I'm
his
gonna
heart.
rub this gently into your.
Wow. He had to be blindfolded.
But he did. Yeah, he was blindfolded. But he didn't die. So he's like, I think I fell on something. She's like, oh, the candle. You fell on a candle. And then she's, I'll call an ambulance. No, we'll rescue you. Then she doesn't call anybody.
Yeah.
They're hanging out for 45 minutes. And then he goes, maybe we should go to the hospital.
and ruin the fun?
Yeah. But we're going to have sex. And then she stabs him in the hospital parking lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In front of everybody. Just panics. Just like, I don't know what to do. Just stabs him in the parking lot. And then turns out she's killed somebody else.
Oh, Black Widow.
Her lover's girlfriend.
Oh, really? Oh, she's taken lovers.
She's taken lovers and she wants to be with her lover. So she kills her. She kills his girlfriend and thinks that they're going to be together now. And that dude ain't into it.
Turn him off.
He's just turn off. He didn't even know. He's just like, but it was in the story. She comes home. He comes home. There's been a murder, and he's like, "Oh, I'll go sleep I'll go sleep someplace else." That's his thing.
It's a weird conceit when you have someone that you're attracted to, and then they're attracted to someone, and then you go, "If I just killed that person,
right?"
It's like
eliminate the competition.
But it's like saying, if I totaled this person's Camry, they'd never be able to drive again, right? It's like, yeah, they would. They'd probably insurance would get them a rental car like within 2 days, and then eventually they'd be out car shopping, and they might even upgrade. Like this notion I got to get rid of this one vehicle so they can never No, there's a whole bunch of other people on the planet, and they're not even killers.
Yeah,
most of them,
and they're free.
The lion's share of them aren't. Statistically, I'm guessing
over half.
After doing this podcast, I don't know. I don't know if it's the lie. It seems like everybody killed somebody by so far. So I'm with you. I don't get these people that just if I just kill somebody, then everything will be fine.
Grab that.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to work that way. But also, like, in terms of eliminating the competition, like, I'm going to kill the starting shortstop for the Yankees so I can play shortstop for the Yankees. Like, no, there's a whole bunch of other guys who want to play.
Well, the best example of that is
the fan with Robert De Niro.
Who was the one that shot Ronald Reagan to get Jodie Foster's attention?
Hinckley.
Like, that's the deranged thinking of, oh, now she'll want to be with me.
Yeah, I think that's where the mental part factors.
Well, this dude survived, and the other girl died. But you're not supposed to victim shame, but he was an idiot. He was just an idiot.
Don't you figure? I feel not to go all morose, but. The first stabbing, that was chalked up to falling onto a candlestick. But I feel like the second stabbing was sort of like the second plane hitting the tower. It's like, oh.
Now I know what's going on.
I think something's going on.
Well, she used to make him move out every weekend and said that her family was coming over and he would have to take all the pictures down of himself. And they were married. Can you imagine doing that?
She's really got him coached up.
Red flags.
Yeah, she should have just dated a stand-up. It would have been way easier. Every weekend.
And he was down with all this.
He was studying to get some degree, so he's like, all right, I'll go to a hotel for every weekend.
Oh, boy.
You hang out with a stand-up. Like, I'm going to be at Magooby's Joke House November 5th. You're going to knock yourself out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got my calendar.
Yeah. You've got my calendar and my flight times. Yeah.
Now, the pictures, that would have been easily done at the Carolla house growing up because there were no pictures of any family members anywhere. So
I don't. Have you done this at all? A lot of comics do it. They just put pictures of themselves in photo frames in hotels.
What?
Do you do that?
No.
And see if you get that room next time and see if anybody's noticed and changed it.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's
fun. Ambitious.
Yeah, you don't have to do much. Just
set it up.
Yep, just put it up
Move
there.
along.
Trying to think now, and it's also. But then, what if no one recognizes you? I mean,
that's even better.
But in a way, if it was Chris Rock or Adam Sandler, someone would say something.
No,
right?
I don't know if that's weird. They got a picture of Adam.
What comedian did you get in your room?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. Did you get the theme room? Did you get the funny room?
All right. Well, have you ever done that?
I have not, but I've heard a lot of comedians do it.
A lot of comedians do it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Or maybe just slip a picture of yourself into the King James Bible.
Oh,
And
that's
then-
going to be noticeable.
Oh,
This
really?
guy was never in the Bible.
It'll stand out.
Yeah, that thing gets cracked open a lot.
I don't know what page this is.
This isn't the Corinthians I know.
I feel like
At the back.
comedians on the road have a lot of range because they're either doing blow with cocktail waitresses and having threesomes, or they're getting a picture of themselves and
I have
putting
missed
it
out on road.
I don't know if it's the same guy,
Right.
but I'm saying there's a lot of range in terms of the behavior
Right.
from the road. Meaning-
Kreischer does the best thing. He does like art with all the towels. He
does like origami towel art?
No, he like makes bodies so it looks like somebody's and stuff like that. He does all sorts of stuff, and he's a busy guy, so I don't have no idea where he gets that stuff. Like,
yeah. Well, I think Artie Lang did different things on the road than Patton Oswalt does. I was going to say.
Yeah,
probably a fair bit of range.
He responded
in
to
there.
tweets. Patton responded to tweets. So did Artie.
I always feel like I just left a hotel, and I've been hanging out in hotels, but I always just feel like I'm sort of up against it. Oh, I had a funny thing you guys tell me. Speaking of old school and moms, it was raining in Nashville, and I like to walk around the city, and normally if you go up to the front desk, they'll have one, or they'll have one by the front door. They have that bucket of umbrellas, right? So I was the day before I went to the front desk. I was up in the penthouse, although it wasn't the penthouse, it was just the top floor. But the elevator took a long time, especially people getting off.
The worst.
Those weird people that stops on the 11th, they get off on the 9th. You're like, what the fuck do you know about this hotel that I don't know, that you can't go down to the lobby with me? What's going on in these in-between floors? Like, what room is your room on? Like, I have a lot of questions for those people, but all right. They're holding up everything. And I go to the front desk and I go, do you have an umbrella? You know, I can borrow. It's raining outside. And they go, oh, there's one in the closet, your room. No. I go, oh, all right. I got to go back and wait for them. I go get it. And the next day, I'm stepping out, and it starts raining again. I go, oh, shit. I got to go back up to the room. It's going to take a while. And then I see Cleto's mom. Cleto is the band leader for Jimmy Kimmel Live. Mm-hmm. And I see her, dear woman, and she's walking, just coming from outside with her umbrella. And I say, can I borrow your umbrella? Because you're going to save me a trip going to my room. They're the same umbrella, but she's old school.
Yeah,
she don't want this coming out of her cleaning deposits, right? So, and I'm the alcoholic comedian, you know. So I'm like, can I have this, Ms. Escobedo? And she's like, yeah, but I'm going to need it back, kind of thing. Like, we're checking out in 2 hours. I'm like, I got you. So I took it, and then
and here it is.
I circumnavigated Nashville. I don't know what you think about this for etiquette, but when I pulled back in, she was sitting down there. She's one of the, they're waiting for the bus an hour and a half before the bus is leaving. And she's sitting there, and I go, I got your umbrella. And she goes, okay, just make sure you let them know, like at the desk, what room it's in or whatever. And I said, okay. And she gave me a room. I walked to the desk, and who did I find? Cleto. Checking out, and I said, hey, Cleto, I got a gift for you. It's from your mom. She's in 702. He was already locked in, you know what I mean? Yeah. He was there. He was engaged, you know what I mean? He had the eye. So I passed it off. Who would she trust more than her own son? That's true. Her own blood, getting that umbrella back. So, you think it got back? Do you think it got back?
That's something we can't know for sure.
Chain of command. It was given way to the son. Now it's on to him.
Yeah, but she could be that old parent that just hates you now.
Yeah.
Adam can't come over one time in Nashville.
I just want some wheat thins, Mrs. Escobedo.
No umbrella.
Not in this house.
Umbrella.
All right, sorry. Do we have another story? I forgot what that one was.
You forgot what?
Stabbed in the parking lot.
Stabbed in the parking lot. This week we're talking about an arts girl. You know, that girl that draws everything in art and pretends she's not really in school. She's in Paris and running around. And she fell in love with a soldier. And she was in love with her soldier, but she needed more. So she's seen a guy in a bar writing in his book and started having an affair with him. And
it's a Hemingway novel.
Yeah, and then she decides that she's had enough of the of the nihilist writing in the bar and kills him, leaves him outside, and then runs to a 90-year-old man's house and says she's been attacked and can't remember her name or anything, like 5 minutes away from where this guy's been stabbed in her car. I hate everybody. That's what this.
She stabbed him again? I mean, not the same person, but I mean, another stabbing?
Oh, yeah, they're always stabbing. People, they really want to get up close and stab. Nobody ever. We haven't done one shooting yet where somebody just by mistake. It's, I cut them 18 times. It was just horrible.
I'm seeing a female aggression. Oh, boy. Oh. Okay, so to my point, a female aggression pattern. Like, I don't just want you dead. I want to stab you to death, and I want to make sure it hurts. That's what I'm hearing from you.
Do you think that's more female than man?
Well, that's what I'm noticing. What you just said. Both these two stories.
No, I think the first story is about a girl that just doesn't know how to
dispose of a body,
or actually kill somebody.
Right.
Hey, let's play a game. Oh, I almost killed you. Yeah, she was very klutzy, that one.
Speaking of stabbing,
yes,
I was listening to the news on the ride in today, and they were talking about a shooting in Glendale, right in our own neighborhood. I think it's probably on the news somewhere, but somewhere right in the neighborhood, there was a shooting, stabbing, whatever.
Podcast dispute.
And turf pod war. But the story was the man was shot and stabbed. And I'm like,
which
what
first?
the
Yes,
fuck?
you're
Like,
right. At a Glendale bakery.
Oh yes, you got to stab. You got to stab.
Don't
and
say
Not
Portos.
Portos.
Why do you have to shoot and stab? If you have a gun, why stab the person?
You're bad at both.
because you run out of bullets.
Is that what it is?
Guess.
That's what the cops said.
We did one not too long ago where the guy shot 39 bullets and one guy survived with 11 inside him.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you might have one out of Glendale coming up. I don't know what that story was, Gina, but shot and stabbed.
It's a bakery dispute.
In front of a bakery.
Yeah, it's exactly what it says.
It's like
they
on a
found
Sunday.
him outside the bakery, and they took him right to County USC for surgery.
Oh, boy.
No
Hope we
outstanding.
missed.
No outstanding. No outstanding suspects.
Did he survive?
They didn't say how many times he was shot and stabbed, or if he knew his attacker, or if they were related. They don't know anything. I think he's alive. I'm not seeing that he died. They took him for surgery.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him for living.
Yeah, and then the bakery gave a notice, which is it had nothing to do with us, which is on one hand a message you'd want to get out there.
Right.
On another hand, maybe a little insensitive or weird. Like
we won't be slicing bread for the next week. Our knife is missing.
Our horns aplenty are still fresh. Come on in.
it was kind of weird, but it was right in the neighborhood.
That's weird. Yeah.
Do you remember this? There was a weird murder case in Canada where it was a mass murderer. He was killing hookers and then he was feeding them to pigs. He had a big pig farm.
Oh,
That's how you
yeah.
dispose of bodies in the Old West.
That's getting rid of them
That's
and
horrible.
changing the taste of bacon.
Can I say this too? Whenever you hear about someone getting stabbed or shot, and then they go, "It was a dispute over a." Mm-hmm. It's never anything good enough to get.
No,
it's
a
never
lawnmower.
a pot of gold.
Yeah, no.
It's never that. It's a parking space.
Yes.
Or disrespected, or an article of clothing.
Yes.
You know
It
what
was
I
in
mean?
the stands of a Rams game.
Yeah, it was
Or
like,
Rand Paul in a tree branch.
It's not enough.
Right.
How do you when you cut somebody off by mistake, which has happened to all of us? Have you ever apologized? Have you ever said sorry? I apologize.
I give a wave.
I love seeing people's face when you say, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean that." They're just like, "Hey, well, I want to yell.
Disarmed.
I want to yell. Please take it up up a notch." People
Yeah, I
are ready
think
to
there's
stab and shoot.
There's a difference, though, between I'm sorry and I'm sorry. They're going to forgive you faster. Because the Canadian accent.
That was just a weird way to come out and shoot me and stab me.
Yeah, that was weird.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
Here, I'm trying to be American and you didn't care.
No, the Americans don't do that.
Do we? Is there any more to that story, Max? About it? It's
No, it's
curious
exactly,
to me.
It's exactly that. They won't say how many stab wounds or how many bullets. They don't know how if the victim knew the attacker. And yes, the bakery did say this has nothing to do with us.
This is nothing
something to do with
I'm still gonna wait 10 days before I go to that bakery.
Yeah.
Sure, just to be safe.
Regardless of whether they were involved or not.
Do your due
Now's the
diligence.
time.
Oh, now's the time. You're right.
Cops are there.
Oh, yeah.
It's like after a commercial airline crashes or something.
No better time.
Get
Never
in now.
safer.
Yeah.
Right. Not two aren't going down in the same week.
10 days from now, Johnny shot and stabbed will be back out there. And that's when you.
You're right. Let's get those scones now.
Yep. Scones.
You're right. Yeah, that's why you're fucking in. All right, do we have
Get
an
out of
outro?
our scones. Those scones aren't for children.
That was Ian Baggs' Body Bagg.
Most people don't care to hear the nuances, especially at the dinner table, between what you're doing to the dog and what the dog's doing to you and how I
needs
judge
to be
it
heard.
Right.
differently.
It's
I think
high time.
Matt Damon got into trouble with this when he
Yeah.
was talking about Al Franken
Yeah.
and Harvey Weinstein, and maybe he should just let it go.